We're preparing to live stream. The meeting is now streaming live on YouTube. Setting up your meeting for YouTube Live. It is going. It is going. It's taking its time. It's there. And we are live.
Oh.
Ooh, okay. So, girl, we now begin the Icayi show. How are you doing?
I'm fine. And you, Miss Anne?
Miss Anne is doing beautifully in this wonderful Wednesday, 19th of May in the UK.
Exactly.
The one day that it hasn't been pouring with rain. So,
Yes,
is it the same in Belgium?
In Belgium, today was good weather. Well, not good weather. It was not raining. They just say it like this. It was just raining, not raining.
Was it okay? So at least it was all right. So people are going to be wondering why we're online and what it is that we're doing. Well, everybody, welcome to Icayi Vibes.
Exactly.
Yay! Icayi means tea.
Exactly.
Is it Kinyarwanda?
In Kinyarwanda and in Kirundi, which is actually my language. So why tea? Why Icayi Vibes? Why?
Because we're going to be talking about stuff that is going to get us stressed. So we need the tea to keep us calm. And then there's going to be some gossip.
Get your tea now. Get your tea now.
If you are ready to listen, please make sure you bring your tea because we are going to be talking about, so every month we'll come online and we're going to pick some interesting topics for our community to discuss. And we're going to be bringing people who know about what is happening. So today's topic, Kaisha, Ms. K, can you please tell us what today's topic is about?
So today we're going to talk about food. We know how Black people, we like to eat, we like food. But we're going to talk about like a kind of revolutionary type of food, okay? Because I think that in the Black community, in the African community, this is not really well understood, if I can say, right? Because we know how we need a chicken. We need a goat.
Whether we need it or not, that is what we're going to discuss today. Like, is meat necessary for the African diet? Do we need the meat? Do we need the goat? Is the cow important?
Do we need the chicken?
Today, we've got some free guests.
Do we need suya?
Do we need the suya? Do we need it? So today we are going to bring some amazing guests who are, vegan chefs, vegan author, who are going to talk to us about, help us answer the question, is meat really necessary in the African diet? So please bring your comments, bring your views, feel free to join the call to let us know what you think and whether you feel that meat is necessary for the African diet. So we're going to bring our guests into the room to hear from them. We have Tinybee, we have Duchess Nena, and we have Spicy Basil. So they're all coming online. Welcome.
Hi.
Hello, Spicy.
Hi.
Tinybee, are you there? Oh, Tinybee is not quite there yet. So
Tinybee. Where did he go? This Nigerian man.
I am here.
He's here with his tea. Oh, he's got his tea.
Yeah, guys, you have your tea.
Yes.
Where's your, please, you want to see the tea?
Yes.
I'm just waiting for the water to finish boiling and then I'll
do your tea. Okay, so
which tea are you drinking for tonight?
It's some Chinese tea, herbal tea.
Herbal tea. Okay, what herb is it?
It's in Chinese. So I know.
It could be anything.
So Duchess Nena, before we ask everyone to introduce themselves, what tea are you drinking?
Oh Lord, I knew you were going to do that. It's one of my concussions.
We like concoctions.
It's like a pepper soup tea. So it's like an infusion of some Igbo herbs. So yeah.
Please explain one or two Igbo herbs that you put in there. Is Uda in there?
there's what we call nchamu, what a lot of people know as scented leaves. Then there's oda, which I know you hate me calling it negro pepper, but yeah, that's one of the names, or seeds of Salem. So yeah, it's got that as well.
Okay, and spicy, what are you drinking?
Something very simple, some cinnamon tea.
Cinnamon is good.
Yes.
For those of us who have a sweet tooth, we need to control our blood sugar.
Cinnamon sugar.
Yeah, that's definitely it. Yeah. So what we're gonna do, just to let everyone know, I'm drinking chamomile, partly because I had a very stressful day. So I need
that's what I need.
Chamomile is amazing. It will just keep you relaxed. But if anybody says anything, I'll still bring fire. So don't think I'm going to sleep. I'm just
she just want to stay quiet, she doesn't want to be like, excited and do all, Miss N, sometimes she can be a bit, extravagant.
What are you trying to say, girl? Don't, Miss K, don't start to. What are you drinking as well?
Oh, I'm drinking mint tea.
Mint tea.
Don't ask me why. It's the only one I found, actually. So,
So you just selected any tea for the show?
Any tea.
Mint is also good. So today's topic today's question is meat necessary for the African diet? So to start the show officially, we're going to ask each one of you to introduce yourself and to say to us what your answer is to that question in short. So to start off, Duchess Nena, is meat necessary for the African diet?
Right. Thank you very much for having me. I'm so grateful to be one of the first guests on what I see there's going to be a very amazing show. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm pandering.
It works.
Right. So basically, you've already introduced me as Duchess Nena, Nena Obani, obviously Duchess Nena. Nena is from Nigeria originally, and I'm a master herbalist and a vegan chef. I'm also the editor-in-chief of Vegan Melanated magazine, and also the COO founder of Oziza, which is an which is UK's first African vegan online store. I like saying that.
I have to clap because we have a girl's boss.
I have to speak, sorry.
I'm also recipe creator and specialize in veganizing African meals. I'm an author. I've got a cookbook on Amazon and another one on its way. So that's me in a nutshell. Yeah, and also I'm a doula, but a postpartum doula. So I don't help people give birth, but I look after them once they've had the baby. So that's me in a nutshell. So I know you want to know, is meat necessary in an African menu? No, it isn't, because we were not originally big meat eaters pre-colonialization. So the way we eat meat now was not the way we used to eat meat before. We used to eat most of our food without meat. So yeah, that's what I have to say.
That's a no, but she's vegan. So you need to be more balanced. You see what I mean? I just want to say just quickly, hi to Christelle Kadi, who is on the chat, and she says hello. And she has as well, she already gave her opinion about meat, but I will read it after, after Spicy and Tinybee opinion about it.
So Spicy, tell us.
Good evening, everybody. Yes, Spicy Basil. I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm from Haiti, the Caribbean, and I'm vegan. It's been 6 years now. And do I think meat is necessary in our diet. What I would say is very often we eat food, just because it's a habit, not because we know what we're doing. Um, so I would say, no, it is not necessary. And I use my Creole Haitian roots to create recipes and to show that being vegan is not boring at all. It can be very delicious and very tasty. And I wrote a book, Vegan Creole Secrets, which is available on Amazon, and I share that with people on in the book and on my YouTube channel. So that's basically what it is.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah.
2-0 for the moment.
Now, Tinybee, tell us.
Necessary. For the moment, meat is necessary in our African diet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Guys, I don't know if you agree with her. Let us know if you agree.
On behalf of
Rosie. Rosie is on the live chat as well. She's saying hello to us. So hi, Rosie.
Hi.
Hi,
She's a stylish woman. Tinybee, yeah, sorry.
on behalf of guys, yeah. First of all, I'd like to say hello to my DSS, my dark skinned sisters. Okay. My name is Tinybee. I'm a commodities broker. I travel around. I like to experience life. I'm enjoying my life, the best part of my life now. So in terms of what we're talking about, is vegan the way to go? I would say it's an extreme. I feel being a vegan is an extreme. You should be able to mix the two. I'm not going to come out here and condemn meat eaters. I feel there's a need to eat meat. If you have a deficiency in like protein, why not? If it's there, you can take it. You can't condemn a whole demographic of people that like to eat meat. That's the way I look at it. But at the same time, you need to taper off your dependency on meat. There are reasons. For example, when I started to take a look at my own eating habits, I got to notice that if I eat meat at the night, I feel there's more acid in my system. So if I'm trying to sleep, I'm uncomfortable. So it's all about understanding your body and knowing what to eat to make your life worthwhile. So that's my own point of view. Thank you.
Okay.
Great.
So
I think what if I can just say one thing about what Tinybee said about condemning people who eat meat. I think this is a kind of misconception that people have, the carnivore, that they have, is that vegan people are a bit extreme and that they don't really, accept people who eat meat or they are being criticized. You see what I mean? So I think this is, maybe there is a kind of misunderstanding between people who eat meat and vegan people, because they always say that it's a bit too extreme. I think to be vegetarian can be understood, but vegan, I think some people think it's a bit too extreme, and I think it's very important that we kind of break this misunderstanding about being vegan. I don't know what you think, Miss Anne.
Well, to be honest, I agree in the sense that we've got two vegans in the room. One thing that I'm very conscious of is the whitewashing of veganism, and therefore the whole of veganism seems to be judged by a specific section of the vegan community. So when I see a lot of the attacking and things like that, I almost have a picture in my head of the kind of person that will do that. But I'm not going to make the assumption. We have two vegans in the room. So, I'll start with Duchess Nena. In terms of what's been said so far, what are your views? And specifically, I want to focus on the idea of there being the need to eat meat because of deficiencies. What are what would you say about that?
Right. When it comes to food groups, it's about understanding food groups and making sure that you eat a balanced diet. meat eaters can also have deficiency. You know, what I find so funny is the fact that whenever you tell someone you're vegan, first of all, they now become like a nutritionist and an expert when it comes to food. And they tell you, oh, how do you get your protein? How do you get your everything else? Which I feel that, I don't know why, but I just feel like meat eaters, sometimes they just feel triggered by the fact that you say you don't eat meat. And like, I personally, I don't judge people. I've never judged anybody for what they eat because I've only been vegan for the last 6 years. So I can't really say anything because I used to eat meat. So, but looking at the fact that people think about having deficiency or linking deficiencies to veganism is actually wrong. It's obviously, you can be vegan and be deficient. You can be non-vegan and be deficient. It's all about understanding the food groups, understanding what to eat, how to eat a balanced diet, and make sure you are getting everything that you need from your food. And then also there's some items that obviously you cannot substitute, things like your B12, which you need to make sure you're getting from your supplements and stuff. And also people who are non-vegan also do have vitamin B12 deficiency. So not to take it lightly, everybody needs to just watch what they're eating and make sure that they're eating properly.
Okay. Is it
Does that answer your question?
Yes,
I think so, but is it true that it's better to be followed by a doctor if you want to become vegan?
Not necessarily. Like I just went vegan. I didn't, until I had to have a blood test, I didn't really tell my doctor that I was vegan. I just became vegan. The only thing is, it's really good to have like a mentor, someone who can actually like guide you if you are kind of like struggling, because some people go the extreme way of only eating certain foods and not actually thinking of the fact that being like veganism does not mean health. Veganism, the concept of veganism is the fact that you feel that animals are not supposed to be used for your own personal gain. And that means not eating animals, not using animal products. So, and, you know, obviously, when I try to explain to people, because they're like, oh, what's going to happen to you if you eat meat? Obviously, nothing is going to happen to me. Oh, well, something might actually happen to me because I've not eaten meat for a long time. Yeah. So my system might not know how to digest meat anymore. But I'm not allergic to meat. And I wasn't allergic to meat when I went vegan. It was just the fact that I was going off of the belief that I have. Do you understand that we're not supposed to be eating meat? And that's just my own personal view. And for me to be able to say no to meat is an act of activism. Because if I don't eat meat and all the people who believe that animals should not be eaten stop eating meat, it would indirectly lower the demand for meat, which is what we're doing. So it's not because we don't eat meat because we feel like meat is really going to poison us. But on the flip side, eating too much meat can actually have a very negative impact on your health. For example, digestion, your diabetes, heart diseases, so many things can be affected by you. Cancer can be affected by you eating too much meat. And people used to be like, oh, but I'm eating just like my grandfather was eating, and my grandfather lived to 101 years old. And, I would be the same way. No, you're not eating like the way your grandfather used to eat. I remember growing up in Nigeria in the 90s, where I obviously, late 80s, early 90s, we would eat food with very little meat. Like the meat we would eat would be like the same size as like Maggi cube. And it wasn't like even a regular thing. We would either eat that or we'll eat a little bit of fish. So we were not eating meat on the same level, or we would even eat meat like, if anything, like 3 times a week. So we, like that actually afforded people time to digest meat, because meat that you eat today takes at least 2 weeks to leave your system. So it would actually give people time to actually kind of like let the meat, digest and leave your system. But the way people eat meat now is different. Like you see one person with a big steak, you understand, they're eating, like as if meat is going out of fashion or they're going to die tomorrow. Well,
be careful, Lena. Be careful.
You want to cause trouble today?
Well, if the shoes fit, who am I?
Well, but maybe we should eat less meat. Maybe
Definitely.
people don't understand that
Definitely Africans. Like whenever, obviously, I do a lot of like activism when I go to Nigeria. I do a lot of like TV appearances, radio appearances, and newspaper media. I just do a lot when I go to Nigeria and talk about like meat eating in Nigeria. Like they will not listen to me if I tell them stop eating meat. But if I can tell them what the meat they're eating is doing to them, they will listen. Do you know what? Yeah, the amount of meat they eat in the morning, the amount of meat they eat in the afternoon, the amount of meat, like I was in a restaurant, yeah, and I was just watching everybody. People were just like, I'm like, wow. We're not actually giving our body time to rest and digest our food. And it's terrible because it's a thing where people have now seen meat as a something of prestige, like a thing where like only the affluent or the rich can actually afford meat. But you see, what happened was the fact that in England they didn't really have food, so what they were eating was mainly like potatoes, steak, meat. So when they went to colonize Africa, they took the same thing with them back to Africa. So Africans are now looking at meat eating as a way to kind of like compete with their colonizers, to be like the masters. I'm not even joking. This is serious business. So we started eating to show that we have arrived. We're affluent. We're on the same level. And once we started doing that, the same Oyibo white diseases came to us. Diseases that we never knew what it was. Some of these diseases don't even have like native African names because we never had them. And they're the things that came along from the way we ate. There's this book called, I've forgotten the name of the guy, but he wrote a book called How Not to Die. And the book, obviously, people we're all gonna die, but it's more like how not to die from different diseases, like, unnecessarily. Yeah, basically. So, and he talked about the African diet, specifically the Nigerian diet, being one of the best diets ever. But you see, what he hasn't put into consideration is the fact that Nigerian diet has changed. Nigerians, they're eating lots of pizzas, lots of chicken, like there's KFC in Nigeria, there's fast food, Cold Stone. They're just eating all kinds of stuff that we never used to eat. So when someone says to you, oh, I'm eating like my grandfather did, no, you're not. And also your grandfather used to walk lots of kilometers and you're not. Yes. So, you need to watch what you're eating. So, without coming across preachy.
You just told everybody off to come and don't bring their nonsense.
Can I just read a comment before Spicy comes out and we can ask her?
Yeah.
Yes. So Christelle KD, she says, meat was hunted by our forefathers until the independence. Therefore, they were eating quality, grass-fed and periodical animal meals. So this is, and she's been as well vegetarian for 15 years, I think. 15 years, and she's not looking back. She's been vegetarian.
Can I add something to that? Sorry, can I add something to that? Yeah, they were eating grass-fed meat. But the most important thing to know is they were eating very little meat. Because think about the fact that someone would go hunt. Yeah, it's not every time you go hunting that you get meat. You understand? So, and when you get the meat, they have large families. Like one man would have like 3 wives. Yeah, and those wives, there was no kind of like birth control, so there will be loads of children. So you can imagine that one small, like game stock will now have to be shared amongst everybody. So the quantity is the key here. The quantity of meat people were eating back then was very, very little compared to how much meat we're eating now.
Exactly.
True. And the seasoned eating that she mentioned as well is important. That rarely happens. But I think spicy, I saw you nodding your head quite a few times.
Yeah.
Well, yes, you were in full agreement.
Yeah. Well, Nena, thank you for sharing all of this, because you're absolutely right on so many points. I can really relate to what you're saying. And I think the first thing is to understand that when you are vegan, you're not against people who are eating meat. The goal is not to be against people, because I was not vegan all my life. So that's the first thing to understand. And that I think what we're doing really is just to present options for people to understand what they're doing. And to me, being vegan is to being conscious. It's more like a lifestyle. It's to be conscious about the food that you're eating and why you're eating certain food. And like I was explaining, sometimes we are eating just because it's a habit. We don't even know why. For example, we drink milk, but all our lives we've seen commercials. Milk is good. If you drink milk, you're gonna have good bones and everything because there's calcium in it. But there's calcium in other foods, like kiwis or So I think vegan is for people who are eating meat. Sometimes vegan is um, exposing people to the unknown, let's say, and putting them out of the comfort zone. And anything that is unknown or out of your comfort zone is not, you don't feel good, so you become like no reluctant about it. But like you were mentioning, I think anybody can be, lacking vitamin B, vitamin D, especially in Europe, some places in Europe where you don't have the sun. So anybody can lack vitamins. It's not about being vegan or being non-vegan. So to me, it's really a conscious. It's a choice. It's to be conscious. Why are you eating that much meat? Why are you doing it? Do you even know why? And like you were saying, sometimes is because it's like a prestige, it's something good, but why are you doing it? What is it doing to your body? uh I myself became vegan not because I didn't like meat, because like I was explaining to the ladies, I was the queen of chicken, like cooking all the time, chicken, all kind of chicken, grill, boil, everything. I'm Caribbean, so chicken was my thing. Um, yeah, but so I didn't become vegan because I didn't like meat. It was about a choice and being conscious and understanding why. And I became vegan because of music, because I was on stage and I was feeling very heavy. Of course, I was eating a lot of meat. And while being on stage trying to digest that food, that meat, it takes a long time. And the moment I tried to eat less meat, that's how it started. Then I started to realize that my energy was higher, and even my mood was different. I was less aggressive. Yeah, but I had a lot of energy on stage, and it started to be different. And that's when I realized, yes, of course, because if you eat that, it takes longer to digest. If you eat that, and then you try to understand what you're doing. So to me, the us Black people, Afro people, I think sometimes we are eating certain things because we've been taught to eat that, or it's just a habit, it's just a circle. But exactly, but it's to me, it's all about being, like I said, conscious. Why are you eating certain food? And then being vegan doesn't mean that you're healthy. And I can raise my hand and say I was not a healthy vegan at the beginning, because I was eating a lot of carbs and very little veggies or leafy greens or things like that. So, and then yeah, you're lacking vitamins and nutrients, and this goes back to what you were saying, Miss Kate. Do you need to follow a doctor? Um, Anybody can, go to see the doctor, but I did because I wanted to know what was missing, what was I was lacking, to better understand where to get my food, where to get my nutrients, and according to my blood type, and to try things. So do we need meat as much as we eating like 3 times a day? Why? And then observe the reaction in your body. Observe your smell, how you sweat. Observe so many things, your skin, you know. So just let's just be conscious. That's what it is. So being vegan is not being against people who are eating meat, but it's about uh, presenting options to have a better health, be more healthy, let's say, and and just to acknowledge like who you are and how you function, you know. Anyway, so to me, veganism is a good thing, yes, because it goes beyond just the food itself. It goes into your emotional, into your consciousness, and your awareness about yourself, but also about people and animals around you and the planet and all things like that. So you know, that's really what it is.
So
Yeah.
it's been 6 years as you're not going back neither.
I will not. I will not. And the reality of being vegan is uh, to research, to understand. For example, um, the reason why what I'm doing is vegan Creole is because at the beginning, I was eating like quinoa with 3 cucumbers and the 3 tomatoes. And I was like,
Yes,
hey,
that's what people say, that you eat
yeah,
flowers. You eat flowers, you eat
vegan.
grass, you eat, you know.
Hey, I needed my sauce, I needed my rice, I needed, you know, something like comfort food. Then
Yeah.
that's why I went back to my roots to understand, you know, how to eat. But yeah, so to me, it's all about understanding and researching. For example, the proteins. Yes, you need to know where to get it. Yes, there's different type of protein. There's complete protein, and there's, you know, how to put them together, match them together to have a complete protein. There's many things. So it's not just okay, I'm vegan because it's trendy. Wow, no, you really have to be aware and be more conscious and research. Really, you have to research and understand what your body needs and how your body will react to certain food, because people can tell you that, for example, the superfood, this is good, chlorella, spirulina, maca, and this and this and this, and for you it doesn't, you know, do the same job. So you have to try it and see how it is. So to be a healthy vegan, to do it, let's say, the right way, even though there's no right way, um, you have to research. You have um, to understand that food becomes your medicine. Food is going to be your fuel. It's going to be it's going to change your mood. It's going to influence your mood. It's going to influence your thoughts. You know, if you're eating a bag of chips every single day, every morning, and you go to school and you have to, trust me, you will not absorb the knowledge the same way if you're eating something more healthy. So
The
it's about
crisp potatoes, right? I'm joking. So
It's
tell
vegan.
me, you've been. I know you're not a vegan, but I know that you had to go through some food change.
Yes.
So maybe you could explain a little bit what happened that you have to change your food intake.
Okay. So back in Asia, believe me, let me say, 10 years ago, I was the kind of guy who eats whatever. I mean, typical Niger boy now. Exactly what Nana said. Our diet has always been okay. You've got your food, you put some meat there, and you deal with it. So you grab. That's how our diet has been growing up. But then I would say I started hitting my mid-age. Hitting mid-age. Then I started noticing certain changes. You start to read your body a lot better the older you get. You know that if you take certain things, it will have a certain impact. Now, I've always been asthmatic. Growing up, I'm talking about since the age of 9, I've been asthmatic.
Oh.
Now, I grew up on a milk-based diet. So the moment I stopped taking milk and I started taking soya, I noticed that I stopped wheezing. Wheezing is one of the symptoms of an asthmatic attack where you're struggling to breathe. So when I noticed that, just by taking a plant-based substitute for milk, that I stopped wheezing, I stopped having blocked nose. That means my mucus content in my system started to diminish. And I was just like, wow, I've been going on for like, what, 20, 30 years with this type of ailment. I'm not talking just about asthma. I'm talking about hay fever. So when I come to it's one of the reasons why I left Europe. Because when I'm in Europe, I have hay fever when it starts to get to spring because of the pollen, and it's to do with mucus again. So I'm there in Asia, I'm taking plant-based diet, and I noticed that I started living a healthier lifestyle. I started having more peace of mind. And then over in Asia, you have more plant-based delicacies available to you. So it's not compulsory for you to like eat a meat-based diet. And then there's more fish, which you don't really get as much in places like Europe. All right. So I was like so astounded. And then obviously health-wise, I started to like make that conscious decision to cut down on my meat. Another thing that really got to me about meat was, I don't know what it was. One day I just took a look at, I think I went past the butcher and I just saw a slab of meat. Basically, it's a cadaver. You understand? That is dead meat. And I'm putting it inside my system.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And then I think while I was still in Asia, I came across, you could have a colon cleanse to get out all the meat waste that is inside your body. That could be like a few years inside your system. So I know this is not the kind of thing that you really want to be talking about, but seriously, the waste product from meat that is inside your system is the baggage you're carrying out around all day. So basically, sometimes I take a look at a dustbin, and if you put meat inside the dustbin over a period of days, and you open that dustbin, the smell, the stench. So that's what really hit me and said, I'm eating meat. The meat is breaking down inside me. It's not leaving my body. In a way, I've got a dustbin inside me. So that's the reason why I started to like calm down on all this. And I noticed that the less meat I took, the better my digestion was. The more I wouldn't feel bloated. I wouldn't, normally if I have a meal in the afternoon that had meat and stuff like, it's like I'm going through, I don't know, an acid attack, because you've got the acid from the meat, the protein, fighting with, other acids inside your stomach. And, you have reflux and stuff like that. So really it was a conscious decision to have a healthier lifestyle. And I've noticed the difference. So it's not like I don't eat meat. I love the taste of meat. That's just my palate. Okay. But I've cut down my meat intake. The most I would do in a week is one.
So once a week.
One day during the week, I will have some meat. But I don't go out all out like I used to when growing, like KFC. KFC is like a once in a month treat. Even then, I really don't like to eat KFC or that type of meat or chicken and stuff like chicken. It has to be really seasoned for me to try that stuff, because I just feel like, what am I eating here? Okay. So, I think the other thing that I wanted to convey to you guys, it's not like I feel that somebody is more justified in their way or something. It's just that sometimes you go to certain places, then you see these activists, sorry to say, outside the restaurant trying to make a point. Oh, you're killing animals. Animals are being treated badly. Fine, we understand. I grew up in Africa, so I had my own I had my own chickens, I had my rabbits and stuff like that. You understand? And I was the one who had to do the actual slaughtering of the animal. Okay, so I know what it entails. Okay, but it's just that if you want to convey to the public or people in Africa that you need to cut down on the meat, you need to show them the advantages of having less meat in their diet.
Yeah, like Nena
From
said,
there, yeah, exactly. So that's what I wanted to add to that topic. You know, it's more a lifestyle or a health decision for me. Okay.
But I think that for everybody, it's kind of more like a health decision. I think it all started with like I was not feeling well in my body. I didn't know what's happening. When I became vegan, I saw the difference. And I think Miss N as well. You went vegan for a moment, right?
Yeah. You know, to be honest, it's really interesting because there's certain things you deem as normal because you haven't known otherwise. What I found really interesting was I went for, it was just a period of time, and a few things I noticed. I didn't smell of BO, which I thought was really unusual. Like I can go days from wearing deodorant every single day. I can go days, even a week, and not have to put deodorant on because I just didn't smell. Also, my bowel movements didn't smell either. They didn't smell that bad. Like I can go and do a number 2 and somebody could walk in straight after and not be choking on the floor dying. But I also, after that,
wow,
yeah, I could walk into the bathroom
because you only eat flowers, right?
Yeah, do you know what? But to be honest, I wasn't always a very well-behaved vegan, and I'll tell you a story about what happened when I had that burger. But you know and I thought that poo is supposed to smell in it. It's supposed to stank. So when I realized that no, it's not even supposed to be killing anybody, because you know sometimes you walk into the bar, especially at work, you walk into the bathroom, you have to walk right back out. So I can even notice the smell of poo that's come from a meat eater as a result of that experience. I can walk into a bathroom and smell a meat eater.
Wow.
Wow. And then so you notice all those things. Obviously, your energy again is much better. But I feel also that you with all these companies coming on to jump on the bandwagon, you know, vegan KFC, vegan this. And I would like to ask the question to the group. There's an issue because I remember when I went to buy a vegan burger and it was made of seitan, and I'm gluten intolerant, right? So, but I could eat bread, and what will happen is I get a bloat. So I went to buy this burger, right? Everything was fake mayo, fake cheese, fake everything. Tasted lovely, but after I finished, actually, I didn't even get to finish the burger. My intestines was just, I was literally keeling over, and it was so painful. Like I was constantly in the cramp. People are looking at you because it's almost like the life is draining from you. Like, what's going on? Is everything okay? And that's because seitan is essentially pure gluten. So sometimes even with even with vegan foods, you kind of have to be careful with what the ingredients are, because you know, there was, like I sent you the image about the ingredients used to make a sausage and then the ingredients used to make a fake sausage. The real sausage, at least you know where it came from. You can understand, like, okay, you've got a bit of pork in here, you've got some oregano or whatever seasoning in here, and then you've got the vegan sausage, which is chemical dichloride, this chloride, that one limonide, and all those kind of things. You don't recognize a single ingredient. So sometimes I feel like there has to be that balance. So for me, I've gone more for the plant-based view. Like my food should be majority from the earth. And I think if people see it in that way, they might be more responsive. The other thing is as well, a lot of people are saying that the way the animals are being taken advantage of, etc. I personally feel that's more reflective of the system that is capitalism. And I'm saying that because of our, you know, the vegan craze and the increase in avocados and increase in quinoa, the communities that used to be able to buy quinoa for really cheap is now, the price has now gone through the roof. So it's affecting those communities whose food that is native. So will we then say, okay, because of what's happening in the quinoa market, I was hearing something about avocado now being used by cartels because of the value of them, and things like that. So will we now say we're going to stop eating avocados, or are we going to address the system that no matter what we put in our bodies, they're going to just take it to a different thing? So I would like to hear people's views on that, because very rarely in the vegan community, when they're talking about how the animals are abused, are they talking about the impact of the increase in that movement, that communities that would have their mainstay can no longer afford their food because we've now decided to take all the avocados and take all the quinoa. What would you say in response to that? So I know that Nena has to go, so I would like to hear from you what your response is in terms of that philosophy and what veganism is doing to some of these communities.
Right. You know, obviously there's veganism, and then there's would I say the new age veganism? And I think there are two different things, if you would ask me, because you know, people are not looking at what they're eating. They're more focused on the fact that obviously they can get like the same things that they were eating before, just the vegan side of things. So they're still eating like the burgers, but vegan burgers and stuff like that, which is one of the reasons why I decided to create food and meals that would give people alternatives, because you don't need to like be eating just those. I also went through the phase where I was eating like the whole like the quinoa and stuff, because why? When I went on Instagram, I went on YouTube, those were the things that they were showing me veganism was. But you see, when I tried to eat those food, after a while, obviously I'm gonna have to say, you know what, goodbye, because this is not what I want to eat. I want to still eat my food, which is fufu. I still want to eat my jollof rice. I still want to eat my beans and plantain. I still want to eat all those things, but I want to make them vegan. But you see, the thing is, there's a place for those things like the vegan burgers, the vegan sausages and stuff. Why? Because people who are trying to transition to a plant-based vegan lifestyle might find it difficult after eating meat for many years. So that could actually be something that could help their transition. And then us talking about the fact that some of those people have now been exploited, things like avocado and like quinoa, and people running out of grains and stuff like that. If compared to the damage that excessive animal farming causes, those things are very significant if like when placed on the same level. Do you understand? So we can't really, those are issues, they're genuine issues that should be obviously addressed. But the fact that you have to give up meat is better than the will I say nuisance. The other thing is like less of the two evils, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. None is great, but you know, it is what it is, and that's what we found ourselves in. But having said that, I just wanted to mention something about meat eating. You know, like obviously a lot of people now are experiencing antibiotics resistance, and that's because of the amount of antibiotics that's pumped into the animals to stop them from being sick. So people are consuming these antibiotics, and it's making it difficult for them when they actually do need antibiotics to be able to get the benefit from them, because their body is so used to a certain level of antibiotics that it's not even working. So not only are they actually like eating will I say like a vegan burger that has all those, you know, artificial chemical stuff, compared to what they would actually be doing their body if they ate the actual meat filled with antibiotics and so many things, cancers and whatever. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Mm-hmm. They're not great. Like, I'm actually plant-based, so I don't eat those things, but I'm looking at it from, will I say, an objective point of view, where I feel like regardless of how bad you see all those other things, it's still better than the meat alternatives.
So what would you say to people who say you wear leather shoes, for example? It's coming from animals. what would you say? What would you respond to that if, you know, if this is really like, okay, we have to take care of the animal life, I have this consciousness about animal killing and all that kind of stuff. What would you say, you know, if someone says, yeah, but
I don't wear leather.
crocodile? No.
I don't wear leather. I don't use leather bags. I don't buy leather, anything. I don't wear fur. I don't use anything. I don't even eat honey. I don't use anything animal based. Everything I use is plant based.
And to be honest, it's a fashionista as well.
Sorry?
Why is honey a problem?
Why is what a problem?
Honey.
Oh, you know what? Yeah. You know the way honey, I'll explain to you. You know, honey in itself, the actual honey, obviously, is a byproduct of animals. Yeah. And it's not like, will I say, non-vegan. Yeah. But the process of farming bees, farming honey, kills a lot of bees.
Really?
Yes. Have you ever watched how honey is being harvested?
Yeah, but I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Because what they do is they put a smoke to like calm the bees down. It doesn't kill them. It just calms them down.
Yeah, but how many people are doing it that way?
Well, I'm just going from I buy natural honey. I buy honey.
That's why I haven't finished what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Yeah?
I buy natural honey from my house.
You came into
back home. Sorry, back home in Nigeria, we have we've got an, what do they call it? An idea. Well, we've got our own hives at home, and we don't kill bees. All we do is just spray the smoke. It calms them down. They produce the honey naturally. It's not I mean, we're not taking anything from them. It's something that they produce naturally.
Yeah.
Like they produce more.
You came in too soon. Yeah.
All right.
That way of creating honey or harvesting honey can never bring the quantity of honey that the world needs at the moment. You understand? So that way of making or harvesting honey can only result to a small amount of honey at a time. Bearing in mind that most products are using honey, medication, they're using honey. Honey is in shops everywhere. People are using it for their tea and all. It's no longer medicinal like it used to be used before. So for them to be able to get honey on the quantity that will be enough to supply the demand, the way they're doing it is not the same way. They don't have the patience to go and use smoke to numb the bees so that they can collect honey. And then another thing as well is, back in the day when they're taking honey, bearing in mind that honey is also being eaten by bees. They don't take all the honey. They take some, the quantity they need, and they leave the rest. And they are also aware of the fact that there's a queen within the bees, and they have to make sure the queen is protected. But these farmers are not doing the same. And how can you, in essence, tell which honey has been produced the way you said that you do in your farm, as opposed to the one that they're doing, and they're doing in a very unscrupulous manner? How can you?
Certification, there's standardization.
Well, I would direct you to go watch Seaspiracy, because certification means nothing.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to point out something, okay?
Yeah.
If you kill the bee, or you damage the bee, you don't get the honey. You understand? And what they're doing to supplement or to meet the demand of honey, fine. It's not called honey. What they're doing is they're taking sugar substitutes, like say cane sugar or what's it, corn sugar, and they're mixing it with the honey and they're selling it off as honey. I mean, there's some documentary.
There is that as well.
Show that.
Well,
So
that as well. But what I'm saying is, for them, the demand is so much that even when they're doing what they're doing in an unscrupulous way, they're still not meeting the demand that they also now have to do the extra. You know, if you want to get like very high grade honey, that there's even higher grades than that. If you really want to get very high grade honey that's sourced ethically and that's produced properly, that you're only getting honey solely in there, you're looking in excess of like £100 for a jar. So how many people can afford that?
Yeah, but it's high grade, isn't it?
It doesn't encourage bee farmers to keep doing it the old way, which is what I'm trying to explain to you.
Okay, man.
I'm not saying that there are not people who are doing it the old way and trying to protect the bees, but there are not a lot of them. And then the bees that are coming, the honey that's coming from them is really expensive and unaffordable.
But like buy your food, when you go and to buy your shop, usually to buy your food, even if you want to be healthy, if you want to try to do something, it's kind of expensive too. So, you know, it's kind of like, you know, everybody want to make change, but, you know, will the wallet flow? That's the problem as well.
The interesting thing as well that I think is probably important to bring up, just from the herbalist side of things, is I've gotten into growing my own food. So I have a cucumber plant I'm trying to grow, courgette plants, you know, I had carrots and things like that.
Broccoli.
Some of these things, I'm trying. I'm learning small. I'm making plenty mistakes.
Flowers from
I'm telling you, I've even got a pepper plant. Like, so when I go to the shops and I buy something, I will take the seeds and I'll try and grow it. And I think these are also options that we can, if we start doing things for ourselves and growing our own food, or at least know the farmer that grows your food, this might even be able to kind of supplement the idea. Because essentially, I think what I'm getting from this conversation is that veganism is one of the pathways to eating more healthily. And who in this world doesn't want to be more healthy? But everybody has their own way. So I've seen the benefits of veganism for myself, but I've gone more plant-based. Because I've seen the result of that for myself. Others have chosen to be vegan. The goal is the same. We want to be as healthy as we can be. And I think especially if we try and...
With me, veganism for me was never about health.
Okay, so why did you become...
It was more about the fact that I believe strongly in us not using animals for our own gain. And then also, when it comes to the spiritual sense of things, when it comes to like karma, when it comes to like not create as little harm as possible to the environment, like I feel like my anxiety really went down when I became vegan, and I've experienced a whole lot of peace of mind when I became vegan that I didn't really have when I was eating meat. So there's a lot more into veganism than just that. So in as much as I'm experiencing the healthy benefits of being vegan, like, you know, losing weight, better blood sugar, better blood pressure, general fitness, better mental health, those things are an addition to my spiritual side of life, because I feel like I'm connecting more spiritually, and I'm feeling happier and better from being vegan. And also, we do know that your gut is also linked to your emotions. And when your body is not digesting properly, it's affecting your mood, and it's affecting your joy. So it's also, you know, something that we really need to look into. So when people always look at veganism, veganism is like this healthy lifestyle. But when you're eating like a packet of chips or crisps with a can of Coke, it's vegan. But is that healthy? No, it's not.
I'm vegan. I'm vegan.
It's true, because like Tinybee was saying, like for example, eating meat. If you put eat in a meat aside for a few days, you will see that you're not putting life into your body, which comes to what you just said. Like, what are you putting in your body? Are you putting that in your body, or are you putting life in your body? Because when you're eating certain food, you are eating live enzymes. Is not that you're eating, and yes, it does have an impact on your mood, on your whole like energy, and you can have blocked energy just because you're eating certain food. So I think the spiritual side is the spiritual and emotional side is very important. And like I mentioned at the beginning, I myself became less aggressive because I was eating less, because the meat, the way that the animal is killed anyway, you get it, you get that karma, you know.
I know. You know what? Yeah, I was trying
Can
to
I just say something? Can I just quickly say something? So someone just put in a comment as well that there are brands only using the leather of animal who died naturally. So, you know, if the animal is dead already, I don't know, why not? Then the other thing, you saying that because you eat less meat, etc., so your body is better, etc., etc. But why not become vegetarian? I mean, have you tried being vegetarian, or did you just go straight to vegan? Because maybe being vegetarian would have made the same effect, but maybe you don't know because you haven't tried being vegetarian.
But you know, like most Black people are lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So having dairy, it's even worse than having meat to some people because your system is sluggish. And dairy alone has been held responsible for many cancers and abnormal hormonal, will I say, in the body. So it didn't make sense for me to have milk, because even before I became vegan, I wasn't having milk because I was already lactose intolerant. So I didn't have any of that.
but on top of that, with all the hormones that they put in the milk, it's like, and then you
Maybe
see,
that's
for
the
example,
hormone.
you know, you see, when I was living in the States in Florida, I used to see like young girls like 12 years old, but looking like 25 years old. And because their body really like developed very fast. But this is also a result of all the hormones that they're putting in milk, dairy products. So that's what it is, you know.
Yeah.
It's
disgusting. But you know, there was a point I wanted to make was, you know, when you spoke spicy, you were speaking about the karma from the meat. You know, when the meat animals are being killed, you know, like the pain and the hurt they're feeling, you know, like energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transferred from one matter to the other. So all the pain and everything that's coming from that animal is being absorbed by you. So
totally absorb, and then you react like that, and then your thoughts, it's like a chain.
Why am I so angry? There's really nothing that should be making me feel the way I'm feeling.
I'm sorry, I must interject. Me, I've killed chicken, I've killed ram before. I did the wahala of the ram or the chicken at that point in time didn't enter me. I've lived my life. I'm easy go, easy. I don't disturb it. I understand.
Your guilty conscience speaking.
It does. It's not guilty conscience. I want us to be on a balance. You understand? Yeah. Fine. Some people don't like anything to do with animal cruelty, but you can't just condemn people that eat meat because you feel the slaughtering of meat is cruelty.
Nobody's condemning it.
No, exactly.
Nobody is condemning anyone.
Yeah, but how can you now tell us that if you kill an animal, the fear that animal experiences at the point of being slaughtered now goes into the person who's killing it? So basically,
no, that's not what I said. Into the person who is eating it.
Well, but it should go to the person who's eating it. No. But
the energy that's transferred to the person
the bad energy. I mean,
yeah,
madam, I I think we should just look at the whole vegan stroke vegetarian. It's just like, to me, it's better to look at it like from an African point of view. It's better to reduce the amount of meat you're taking for health reasons. That's really,
And
you know,
don't
from
replace
the beginning you made it clear. You said,
yeah, but you can't tell someone, same as you don't want me to tell you how to eat your meat. You can't tell someone how to be vegan.
Yes, and I just want to add that, you know, on that the spiritual level that we don't want to talk about. Well,
yeah,
even being vegan, if you're just fasting, just that, it's not about being vegan. If you're just fasting, then you will see how your spirit is sharper. Having a heavy meal, I'm not saying vegan or whatever, but a heavy meal, and you're trying to, let's say, pray or meditate or do whatever practices, you will see that your spirit is not the same. So that is just to explain that, yes, the food that you are putting into your body has an impact on your mood, on your whole energy, on the way you react, on the way you think. So the spiritual part that we don't want to see, it is there. It is there. It is. I think it's more difficult to because you cannot grasp it, you cannot see it, but the energy is there, no matter what. And like I said, try to fast. You don't have to be vegan, and you will see how your spirit is different. How you
well, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that, Spicy, because even if you take a plant-based diet and you eat substantially, and you know, and then you try to meditate, you still have the same issue. So it's really about, you know, if you're talking about spirituality and what you put into your system, there has to be a balance. You need to calm down and not just overeat, you understand? You just need to have a balance in what you put into your system. Hence the reason why I say, I'm not trying to tell meat eaters not to eat meat or not to eat substantial amount of meat. I'm just saying reduce the amount of meat so as it doesn't have an adverse effect inside you. Same thing, if I want to eat excess corn or a lot of corn, it will have an impact on me. It's just about having that right balance. Okay?
Exactly. And it's just to be conscious about what you put in will have an impact. So it means that, yes, if you are eating meat, there's a certain impact. And the way it was killed, it's a reality. Yes, there's an impact, you know. And what I would suggest is that if someone is trying to be vegan or want to try to be vegan, do not become vegan overnight because it's trendy or something. I think, yes, there's a transition to go through. But definitely, if you eat less meat, you will see the difference. Even if you don't want to see the difference, your body will react. You will feel it. Even if you don't believe it, you will feel it. You will see
anyway, I think
something different. And your energy, like Nena was saying, the energy, we cannot deny that. It is there. We can choose to ignore it, but there is something about the energy and something about a higher consciousness of the things around us, the energy around us. We cannot kill energy. So there is that reality, no matter what, if we want to ignore it or not, it's there. Then you just have to experiment it. And when you do the transition, you may not put the word spiritual to it, but you will see a change in your mood. You will see something. And what is mood? Can you touch mood? You cannot touch mood. That's energy.
Just to interject on that bit, I think, you know, we have to also recognize that there is a scientifically proven element in terms of the gut-brain connection. There is a connection, and what you eat does affect your mood. In fact, like the mood enhancing hormones and chemicals, a significant amount is actually produced in the gut. So scientifically, it has been proven, especially, for example, from our perspective, when somebody is saying, you know, they're slightly depressed, their mood is lower, one of the first things we look at is what is it that they're eating? And we also have to understand that the gut in itself is governed by a certain part of the parasympathetic nervous system, which is like the rest and digest part of the nervous system, that requires you to be doing what? To be resting. And if you're not resting and digesting, you're stressed, you're doing this, you're stuffing your face, that's going to have an impact that even your body won't produce enough of the juices for you to digest your food properly. So I think, you know, there is the spiritual element. Me, I'm a very spiritual person. So when I hear that kind of stuff, I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. You know, you want to give kindness and receive kindness in all its forms. So I understand that. But there's also a science between the relationship between your gut and the brain. There is a connection between the gut and your brain. The brain shares, there's feedback that goes from your gut to your brain. Your gut has its own immune system and shares what's going on to your gut and your brain. And a lot of the disorders that we have are related to what's happening in our gut. And our immune system is significantly impacted by, for example, the variety in the population of our gut bacteria. How do we get that variety? One of the ways is by eating a variety of foods. If you're only eating chips every single day, you're not going to harness that variety of gut bacteria. So these are all things that, you know, there is a science to what's being said, but and there is a spiritual element. But yeah, I get what everybody is saying, and, you know, it's making me think a lot. But yeah, just to add that there is a proven connection between the gut and the brain.
But no, the challenge is, no, I was going to say the challenge is, now that you say that, and that is why someone like Nena is here, why I'm here, is the challenge is now to eat vegan, for example, but to make it tasty, to make it delicious,
exactly.
to make it
good,
to make it enjoyable. Because if you're going to become vegan and you are eating just like, I was going to say grass salad, you know, that's boring. And of course, that I think we sometimes have that idea of vegan is like just veggies and it's just that, and it's very expensive, and it's okay. Like you were saying, you're growing your own, and then you can buy in bulk. But then you need, especially for Afro people, we need our food. We're not gonna stop eating, like you were saying, fufu. Me, I'm not gonna stop eating my dirikole. What is dirikole? It's rice and beans, and you know. But then when you think about it, a lot of our recipes are already vegan in reality. There's already dishes that you can really make vegan. So to me now, the challenge is for people who are trying or wants to transition is to have delicious food while being vegan. That's you know, that's pretty much what it is.
And I think this is maybe what we think as African, is that actually the meat is bringing the flavor. The meat with the sauce is bringing the flavor. So I think that's why they can't imagine eating without meat. You see, so but actually I think that's why it's good. Like, you know, people like you, Spicy, and Nena, you do all those recipes. I have even a friend as well who sent me show me as well a cover of the book of as well like Creole as well, I think, recipe for vegan people, because it's true. We have this idea that, you know, being vegan is just eating the same food every day. But
like cows do.
Exactly. Yeah. But then the thing is as well about growing ourselves of food. I don't think it's suitable for everybody. It's not everybody who has a garden. We are living in a very fast-paced life. You know, sometimes we don't have time to do that. So, you know, sometimes as well, that's why some people go to fast food, because it's easier. Maybe they don't want to eat fast food, but they're hungry, and you know, this is what they want to eat now. You see, so I think it's like it's kind of as well of educational. And I was as well wondering, is it good for kids, you know, to already be vegan, or teach them to eat less meat? I mean, how can this work, and from what age, etc.? Because I think, you know, I think grown men and grown women, you know, maybe we don't want to hear about changing habits, food, you know, maybe only if they have a health issue, or if they have a consciousness about something. But maybe we can actually show them that there is other way to eat, you know, instead of like, you know, always have meat. And because as well, usually kids, they love animals, you know, and you know, it's killing them sometimes to know that it's a, you know, it was a, I don't know, I'm not gonna say a dog, of course, but you know, like a cow or something, you know. So maybe they will be more sensitive to that.
For me, if you don't, okay, growing up, now I'm just talking about from a West African diet in Nigeria, Southwest. Okay, so my mom in the morning, she'll make my and oogie. So that is cornstarch. It's like a custard. All right. And then the my is made out of like beans. All right. That alone was so satisfying. I didn't, there was nothing to do with meat in it. And it was so satisfying. I loved it so much. Then in the afternoon, you might have beans and plantain with rice. Can you see that? Doesn't have any meat at all. Okay. But it's still satisfying. It's got the stew. You're happy. All right. So it's not like we can't do without meat. It's just about whoever's preparing something, it has to be one, it needs to be tasty, satisfying to on the palate, you know, spiced up, really good for you to eat. And then you don't really have to eat. So that's why, and also I think the most important part is we don't have an availability of fast food places where we can get this type of meals on already. And if you go to like places like McDonald's and stuff like that, the meat alternatives that they have, I don't like them. I never eat them because one, they're full of salt to preserve. So that's one point that I wanted to add to it. It's really about providing food for the masses that is one, nice on the palate. Okay.
Duchess Nena has to go. So if possible, can you give us your closing statement, but also tell people where they can find out more about what you do, your Instagram, your website, all the usual stuff?
I'm so bad at self-promoting, but hey, let me try.
Try very well, Lou.
So you know, Keisha was saying something about how to raise children vegan or all that kind of information. I've got a couple of articles on how to raise vegan children and how to ensure that they're actually getting all the nutrients they need. So you can head over to veganmelanated.com so you can check some of the articles. We've got brilliant articles by brilliant writers, people like Miss N here has written for us. Yeah, so feel free to go over there, and you can follow me on Instagram, Duchess Nena. And yeah, you can see everything I'm doing. I try to kind of like, I've got other handles, but I try to coordinate everything. So once you get to Duchess Nena, you can see like everything else I do. And yeah, and the final word I have to leave to everyone is there's nothing like a perfect vegan. There's nothing like perfectionism in veganism. And the only thing you can do is to try, and whatever effort you've put in towards obviously making sure that, you know, animals are safe, you're not causing harm to animals, be you vegetarian, be you pescatarian, be you flexitarian, as long as you keep doing what you're doing, you're awesome, you're amazing. Thank you very much. And thank you guys for having me on your very first episode. I feel so honored. I feel so blessed.
Thank you so much, Nena. Thank you so much. We're going to put the details on the description and the comments as well. And so as well, if people want to comment as well, they can, because I think it's very important that we hear about, you know, our community. And, you know, if you have a question or anything, just please do it now, because I think it's very, very important.
Just to add, before Duchess Nena goes, I have a very expensive taste bud, and I like rich flavor and food, and I have tasted Nena's food. So let me tell you something. What I realized is that people don't like veganism because they feel like the food is going to be tasteless and bland. When you taste Nena's food, I swear, you will not eat. You will even ask yourself, why do we use meat? It will fill you up and the flavors will be rich. So she has, if you're especially if you're based in the UK and you just want to taste what proper African vegan food tastes like, just go to her website. The handles will be on the channel. But I'm giving my Miss N 100% tag on good taste food. Well
So
done.
how eat her
Nena,
food
you have to
then?
invite us so we come down.
Her Eddie Kai Kong is my favorite. So if you're wondering what to order her Eddie Kai Kong, and she's got also her yam pottage. Those are my two favorites.
So you do it like, okay. I'm interested.
That's what you order. Order those two things first, and then you'll be like, hey, why did I not go vegan before?
You forgot your plantain porridge.
And that, listen, I'll be listening for the 10 hours, but that Eddie Kai Kong, I was like, hey.
You see,
I even had to call her.
you're supposed to tell us what you have. You understand? Hey, me, I like anything yam pottage. I love it, man.
Yeah,
and it's vegan and it tastes on point. Like me, I was originally maybe 10 years ago. You think of vegan, you think of salads and oil.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
Man cannot live by salad alone.
Before I go, Keisha, you said something about people feeling like they can't really be vegan because they're on the move, so they're grabbing everything that they have. So people like me who do like meal preps, I'm not pushing my meal prep, but I'm just saying it's good for people to do meal preps. It can help you stay on the straight and narrow. Like even myself, when I want to do my, like if I'm going on the juice fast or anything like that, I make sure I've got all my things there so that all I just need to do is grab and blend or grab and go. So it always helps to prep ahead of time. It helps you stay the course.
It helps the budget.
Good organization, disciplined people with that. But I think
disciplined people who are about to die and want to live.
See, I always get messages from like, oh, you know, my doctors told me to cut meat, my doctors told me to cut dairy and whatever. Let's protect ourselves before we get to the point whereby they're now telling us do this and do that and do the other. That's all it is. Yeah, please, Africans, if you're listening to me, keep the amount of meat you're eating to a minimum, please. Like I had gone with a friend of mine to an event, and I was like, oh, like I like African salad, and I requested African salad, and then they brought my food. I was eating it, and my friend, next thing I saw like a big bowl of food being brought in. So I thought, since I got my vegan one, that big bowl of meat, whatever, nkwobi, for anyone who is Nigerian would know that, which is like cow food and stuff, everything mixed in. Like the big bowl was for everybody else. No, it was for my friend.
Hey.
I was watching this guy eat. I don't even know. You know those plastic bowls that they usually use to wash hands when they want to eat food?
Yeah.
Filled with nkwobi. My mouth was hanging. I didn't know when I shouted, "Are you going to finish this?" The woman who brought the food removed her face. I kid you not. He finished this food. Guess what? He knocked out. He slept.
Oh wow!
Food coma.
And he drove. Yeah. So he ended up having to get me a taxi to go home because he couldn't drive, and he himself had to also take taxi home.
Wow.
So I had to call him the next day. I said, you know, I know that my words might not mean anything to you, but I just want to tell you, stop eating.
Wow.
That is true. Food coma. Food is not supposed to make you sleep. What they say is that if you're sleeping after eating, it's because your body requires so much energy to digest the food that it can't keep you awake and digest the food at the same time. So it either does one or the other. And the most immediate thing is to digest. So it basically shuts you down so that you digest your food. But
it
food
depends.
Do that.
It also depends if you eat good pounded yam or any heavy. The coma will come.
Yeah, but even then, you could eat pounded yam in excess. You could eat.
Yes.
The thing, the whole idea is about excess, and I think we need to get used to listening to our bodies, because we ourselves know what's wrong. When we eat and our belly is here, problem. When we eat and we cannot go toilet, something is wrong. We need to be able to read that. Yeah, you need to go toilet. There are people who eat like big bowls of food and they go toilet once every 2 weeks. Where's the food going?
No.
There are people who go to toilet once every 2 weeks. Listen, me,
Wow.
in my mind, if you're not going every single day, you're constipated.
No, that's the problem.
But see, that's the good thing.
Well, I don't know if you have to go every day.
I go like at least 3 times a day.
Yeah.
What? At least? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What goes in, the waste has to come
It
out.
needs to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least.
If it doesn't come out every day,
High fiber.
sorry to say, you've got a problem.
Yeah.
I want people to know that if it doesn't come out every day, you've got a problem.
Yeah.
And it
Well,
has
it
to
can
do
come
with
out
that.
for 2 days, maybe, you know, but
No.
every day.
Every day.
God.
If you're
Time
eating every
today is
day,
a lot.
Then you
if
have
you're
to
eating every day, you
flush
need to
every
go
day.
you need to do a number 2 every day.
Yeah.
And people are not
Minimum once a day.
enough water. You know,
Yeah,
they say
Like the
drink
minimum.
liters. I try to drink 4 liters every day. Because water with your food, water softens whatever you have inside.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
helps make your waste come out easily.
Yes, of course, yeah. Yeah.
I
And
also
just to
happy-
add, because so that people understand, because I think people be like, why do I need to poo? A lot of the way we clear our hormones and way we clear excess is through these waste channels. So
Yeah.
if we don't go to poo, then that means some of this stuff is being recirculated in the body in even worse a form than when it came in. So sometimes when we're looking at treatment protocol for certain conditions, we will ask you, how often are you going to toilet? Because if you're not eliminating, that means the nonsense is recirculating. So we will look at the how often you go toilet. We'll look at signs that there might be an issue with your liver, because the liver produces the bile store gallbladder in there it helps you digest the fat. So you might have floating poos, for example. So all of these kind of things, especially with the gut, people will be like, oh, I go toilet once every 2 weeks. You're eating every day. It needs to go out. Where it's just sitting in your colon. And I know that people were saying that colon cancer, one of the causes of it is basically the poo staying in the colon too long and irritating the lining of it because it's staying in there too long. You have poo staying in there 2 weeks.
No, but in 2 weeks is a bit too much. I
People
mean,
are having like smelly breath, stink, everything. It's all linked.
Yeah, there are people in this world that don't go poo once every 2 weeks. I'm telling you. I know people.
What you just said there, I've come across people that don't. That's why another thing that I'd like to add is when you eat, when you ingest, make sure you soften up, you prepare your stomach by taking vegetables to start with. So it gives your stomach something to like work with. Even if you have some protein, some meat in your diet, at least it's got the vegetable to help it move along, churn the food, digest. Okay, so don't just eat your meat like in hobby. You just eat hobby like that. What's it using to digest it? It needs vegetable. Another thing is if you feel that you've got food inside your system, it's not come out, you're not going to the toilet, go and get prune juice. I guarantee you.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But
true.
even bitters, the taste, the bitter, anything bitter will help the digestion, will help you go to the bathroom. So I think that all our food is all about sweet. So just even adding bitter vegetables, bitter flavors into your diet, and you'll see the difference. I'm very conscious of time. So Miss Gay.
Yes, I know that as well, Spicy has to go. I know Nena, I think she's still there, or I don't know. I just have 2 comments on the chat. Is Nena saying goodbye, or is she there?
Yeah, I was going to say goodbye.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. But someone is asking, vegan or vegetarian, which one are you? Can you clarify? You are vegan, okay? You are not vegetarian. You are vegan 100%.
Yes. I'm plant-based vegan.
Plant-based.
I try to eat the purest form of food.
Okay.
No meat or anything. Yeah.
Okay. And spicy as well, right? You are plant-based.
All right. Take care. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. And there is another comment just quickly when we're talking about constipation. DJ Dolla is saying that meat stays in your gut for up to 3 days because it lacks fiber. So thank you very much for this comment, DJ Dola. And as well, Teko Pikin was asking about, are you vegan or vegetarian? So yeah, so now they're discussing between each other in the live chat. But I don't know if there is any other advice that you could give to all African people about trying to be vegan. At least, I don't know, maybe we can try. Spicy, when you were talking about transition, are you talking about like days when we are vegan, or are you talking about some food that we should start to be vegan? What do you mean by transition?
Both actually, because like I don't think it's a good idea to become vegan overnight. You will shock your body, first of all. So do not try to become vegan overnight. Do a transition. And I think the best way is to start with food that you already like, dishes that you already like, and then you just twist them and see how you can make them vegan. You can turn them into vegan. It's a good way to transition, a good way to start, because eating food that you don't like, it's really not an option. So you can try, let's say you say 1 times a week you're gonna go vegan, and then you're gonna eat something that you like, but you just make it vegan. That's how I think you should do the transition. It will help you to discover that yes, I can actually be vegan and eating good food, tasty food, which is the goal. Tasty food and nutritious, not to lack any kind of nutrients. So that's really.
And we can of course like try to get some ideas with your recipe book.
Yes, yes. Vegan Creole secrets. That's exactly what I do. I took a selection of my favorite dishes from my childhood, and I turned them into vegan. And I also explain why, for example, you're eating the difference, for example, between kidney beans and pinto beans, which are 2 beans that you can use for rice and beans. So just to be aware of which one has more protein, for example, and other recipes, which is not in the book, but on my YouTube channel you can discover many recipes at Spicy Basil. For example, agushi, which is a meal that I discovered in Ghana when I went to Ghana for my music tour. And agushi is like something that is like so perfect for vegan because the agushi seed is actually a complete source of protein. It contains the 9 amino acids. So it's exactly like if you were eating meat. So, yes. So this is African and this is delicious and this is very healthy. So that's what I'm saying. Try recipes and dishes that you already like. And African culture, we already have so many
ingredients
dishes and delicious dishes that we can turn into vegan.
And Tinybee, so what are you saying to your brothers? What are you saying to your brothers, when you talk about food and you like to see this sometimes, eat vegan? What do they say? What do you tell them?
I just tell them, they know me, yeah. I'm a straightforward person. It's not like I don't want meat, but I only take small amounts of meat, okay? And if I take meat, it's only going to be once a week, okay? It's important that we take a look at our previous diet growing up. As I said, I had my and oogie. That's something that I like. I like rice and beans. I like asharo, which is yam pottage. I like plantain pottage. You understand? This is all veggie, vegetable based. Okay, so it's plant based. So it doesn't mean that you've gone cold turkey, no meat at all, but you just tempered down. You've calmed on the amount of meat you're taking in. And the only advice I'd like to add is please don't substitute taste with salt. Salt is the number one killer of our people. Okay, so please know what you're putting into your system, read your body, calm down on the salt intake. Okay, thank you.
True. It's true.
Yeah,
it's
a good point. It's a really good point. And all those fake meat products, they are very high in salt and sodium. So be aware.
So it's better to avoid it.
Well, if you're doing a transition, of course, myself, when 6 years ago, I went through it. But if you can avoid it, yeah.
All right. So we have another tech speaking as well, who says that psyllium is a great source of natural fiber, you know.
Make sure you drink so much water.
This is a good comment, because I tried that 1 year ago and it doesn't work for me. Even though I was drinking a lot of water, it doesn't work. And that's what I'm saying. Everybody has a different system. So you have to try things. So, but it's definitely good. Many people have tried it and it's good. But for me, it doesn't work, you know. So
it's the main ingredient for like the broccoli fufu and the cabbage fufu, but you have to have it, preferably soak it before. That's why I like it with the cabbage fufu, because you mix it with the water and you cook it and you let it soak up as much water as possible. Because if you take in the psyllium husk and you do not drink enough water, it's going to take the water from your body. And you are going, if you've ever had serious constipation where you're pooing pellets, psyllium husk will show you something. So
are we going to end on that note? I don't think.
But you know what is very good for digestion is it's okras. Okra is very nutritious and it's really good for digestion. There's fibers, but it's also going to help you to flush everything. Okra is very good.
Better out than in.
Pardon me?
Okay.
Better out than in.
Okay. Well, I don't know if there is any last comment, maybe for any, of our guests, because first of all, of course, I just want to thank you so much, to have been so open about it, because I know when I ask around about, being vegan, oh, we are joking, and, those people, oh, they only eat grass, oh, this, oh, that, I saw a lot of comments. But I think it's good. And I think really maybe what could make people think of like, maybe I should try is the health issue. I think in the energy and, and all that kind of stuff. I think it's already a good thing to think, okay, because, everybody, I think a lot of people will do anything for health. You see, we can see that now even with the corona, So people will do anything for health. And so, if we can already pass that message, I think this is really, really, maybe some people will do some sacrifice and maybe not really like not eating meat never ever, because maybe this is as well like this idea of like, what, I would never eat meat never ever in my life, but like to reduce at least. And then maybe as you reduce, you will realize, well, actually, I haven't eaten meat for 2 weeks. I'm fine,
Yeah. But I think, the approach of what Tinybee was saying is to present the benefits of what it is to reduce the amount of meat. This is going to do this for blood pressure, diabetes, and this. I think by exposing that, by sharing the knowledge, explaining, you are actually finding a solution. And then I think that's how we can really reach out to our people, especially our Black people, our community, to just explain the positive impact, the benefits. And that's how we can really spread more awareness and knowledge to our people.
Yeah, and break this conception that, no, this is how we used to eat. This is how our father used to eat. A lot of meat, a lot of meat, a lot of meat. And so that's why they think it's normal to have so much meat, food.
Yeah.
You see, and so it's not really true. It's just that this is what people think.
Like drinking milk, and you don't even know why you're drinking milk. It's just because you've been taught that you have to drink milk. When in reality, it's really bad. Yeah.
So the question was, is meat necessary for the African diet? And I think we have answered it in a way, and we have said, no, if you don't eat meat, you will not die. But at the end of the day, like if you decide that you're going to reduce the meat, I think it's just, it's, as you said, eating better for your health. If you decide that you want to add a little meat, fine. But if you don't eat meat, you will not die. You are not cursed. It doesn't mean you are poor. But you're looking after your health. You'll be 80 years old and you'll be running marathon. That's what you want in your life. Not that you're 40 and you're not feeling yourself, you're not well, you're having all these problems. We want better health. That's all we're saying. Just even ask yourself, how do I feel when I eat this? If I try this, how do I feel? And if you feel better, go for what makes you feel better. If you want to add a little bit of chicken and it makes you realize that your body, you're more awake, you're more alert. Because in certain places, certain people, if you're an Eskimo, for example, we can't tell you to be eating vegan. You know, the environment won't allow. But I think we just need to take in consideration the context and look after our health and start asking our questions. Just because this is how I've always eaten doesn't mean that it's the right way to eat. I'm tired of seeing my aunties and uncles and relatives at 54 having diseases that even our 90-year-old grandmothers didn't have. You know, it's not, you know, and every time I see funeral poster, what a shock. And the person is in their 30s. Like, I mean, we have to review what we're doing and what we can change. And also, just because we said cut meat doesn't mean you need to add Indomie into your diet. That's all I'm saying. Indomie everything.
Now, I think it was really interesting, and I think it's just educational, and I think we need, like Spicy said, research, and, you know our body, understand our body, because it's true, sometimes our body is talking to us, you know, and sometimes we don't even know what it is, but sometimes it's just a food that we eat, you know. So, and so it's very, very important. Yeah.
Yes, the vegan burger. That's it. Well, thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate it. Just to let everybody listening know, this is a monthly show that we're doing. So we pick topics each month and we'll bring the right guests, as you've seen an example today, who'll be able to talk on the subject and give you a variety of perspectives and hopefully help us as a community make a more informed decision whilst we are sipping our tea.
Oh, Icayi.
Everyone, where's your tea? Where's your Icayi?
It's cold. It's like iced tea now.
This is the beauty of having herbal tea. Even when it's cold, it's nice.
No, but really, I think, like Miss Anne said, thank you so much for being here tonight. And we're going to put as well, of course, the details of your book, Spicy, because can we get it on Amazon or something? I don't know.
You can go on my website, spicybasil.com, which is on the screen. You can see it and you can click on it, and Amazon. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. So Tinybee, you will have to tell us a little bit more. You have to keep in touch with us to tell us if you have become 100% vegan or not.
No, you know, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I'm just here to like give a balanced view.
Exactly.
But
I think it's good as well that we don't see vegan people as extreme. You know, all of them are not like this. Some, you know, of course, because they make maybe the more noise. But, you know, it's not all vegans who are judgmental. I think this is the concept, and we have as well to be tolerant and understand. But yeah, it goes both ways, and as well, because most vegan were actually eating meat before.
Exactly.
So should be tolerant as well, you know, both ways. All right, so I think that's it then. We have a first Icayi Vibes show.
Nice.
Done and dusted. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and have a great night.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Stay healthy and keep it tasty. Make it healthy.